We continue the Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation of the Holy Quran with Suwrah, the thunder. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, Aleph, Lam, Mim, Ra, these are the signs, or verses, of the book which hath been revealed unto thee from thy Lord, is the truth, but most men believe not. God is he who raised the heavens without any pillars that ye can see. Then he established himself on the throne of authority. He has subjected the sun and the moon to his law. Each one runs its course for a term appointed. He doth regulate all affairs, explaining the signs in detail, that ye may believe with certainty in the meeting with your Lord. And it is he who spread out the earth and set thereon mountains standing firm and flowing, rivers and fruit of every kind. He made in pairs 2 and 2. He draweth the night as a veil o'er the day. Behold, verily, in these things there are signs for those who consider. And in the earth are tracts diverse, though neighboring, and gardens of vines, and fields sown with corn, and palm trees growing out of a single roots, are otherwise watered with the same water, yet some of them we make more excellent than others to eat. Behold, verily in these things there are signs for those who understand. If thou dost marvel at their want of faith, strange is their saying, when we are actually dust, shall we indeed then be in a creation renewed? And they are those who deny their Lord, and they are those round whose necks will be yokes of servitude, and they will be companions of the fire to dwell therein for aye. They ask thee to hasten on the evil in preference to the good. You have come to pass, yet have come to pass before them many exemplary punishments. But verily thy Lord is full of forgiveness for mankind for their wrongdoing. And verily thy Lord is also strict in punishment. And the unbelievers say, why is not a sign sent down to him from his Lord? But when thou art truly a warner, and to every people a guide, God doth know what every female womb doth bear, by how much the wounds fall short of their time or number, are to exceed. Every single thing is before his sight in due proportion. He knoweth the unseen, and that which is open. He is the great, the most high. It is the same to him, whether any of you conceal his speech or declare it openly, whether he lie hid by night or walk forth freely by day. For each such person there are angels in succession before and behind him, and they guard him by command of God. Verily, never will God change the condition of a people until they change it themselves with their own souls. But when once God willeth a people's punishment, there can be no turning it back, nor will they find beside him any to protect. It is he who doth show you the lightning by way both of fear and of hope. It is he who doth raise up the clouds, heavy with fertilizing rain. Nay, thunder repeateth his praises, and so do the angels with awe. He flingeth the loud-voiced thunderbolts, and therewith he striketh whomsoever he will. Yet these are the men who dare to dispute about God with the strength of his power supreme. And so that verse 13, Arra'd, okay, it's hard to see in the tiny print. For him alone is prayer and truth. Any others that they call upon besides him hear them no more than if they were to stretch forth their hands for water to reach their mouths, but it reaches them not. For the prayer of those without faith is nothing but futile wandering in the mind. And futile is in parentheses. Whatever beings there are in the heavens and the earth do prostrate themselves to God, acknowledging subjection, with goodwill are in spite of themselves. So do their shadows in the mornings and evenings. Walalai asjudu man fi samawati walarde tawan wa karhan wa khalalun ilgudu walasau. And prostrate upon the 7 points. Say, who is the Lord and sustainer of the heavens and the earth? Say, it is God. Say, do ye then take for worship protectors other than him, such as have no power either for good or for harm to themselves? Say, are the blind equal with those who see? Are the depths of darkness equal with light? Or do they assign to God partners who have created anything as he created, so that the creation seem to them similar? Say, God is the creator of all things. He is the one, the supreme and irresistible. He sends down water from the skies, and the channels flow, each according to its measure. But the torrent bears away the foam that mounts up to the surface. Even so from that ore which they heat in the fire to make ornaments or utensils therewith, there is a scum likewise. Thus doth God by parables show forth truth and vanity, for the scum disappears like froth cast out, while that which is for the good of mankind remains. On the earth, thus doth God set forth parables. For those who respond to their Lord are all good things, but those who respond not to him, even if they had all that is in the heavens and on earth, and as much more in vain would they offer it for ransom. For them will the reckoning be terrible, and their abode will be hell. What a bed of misery is then one who doth know that which hath been revealed unto thee from thy Lord is the truth, like one who is blind. It is those who are endued with understanding that receive admonition, those who fulfill the covenant of God, and failed not in their plighted word. Those who join together those things which God hath commanded to be joined, hold their Lord in awe, and fear the terrible reckoning. Those who patiently persevere, seeking the countenance of their Lord, establish regular prayers, spend out of the gifts we have bestowed for their sustenance secretly and openly, and turn off evil with good. For such there is the final attainment of the eternal home, gardens of perpetual bliss. They shall enter there as well as the righteous among their fathers, their spouses, and their offspring. And angels shall enter unto them from every gate with the salutation, peace unto you, for that ye persevered in patience. Now how excellent is the final home! But those who break the covenant of God after having plighted their word thereto, and cut asunder those things which God hath commanded to be joined, and work mischief in the land, on them is the curse for them, is the terrible home. God doth enlarge or grant by strict measure the sustenance which he giveth to whomso he pleaseth. The worldly rejoice in the life of this world, but the life of this world is but little comfort in the hereafter. The unbelievers say, why is not a sign sent down to him from his Lord? Say, truly God leaveth to stray whom he will, but he guideth to himself those who turn to him in penitence. Those who believe and whose hearts find satisfaction in the remembrance of God. For without doubt in the remembrance of God do hearts find satisfaction. For those who believe and work righteousness in every blessedness and a beautiful place of final return. Thus have we sent thee amongst a people before whom long since have other peoples gone and passed away, in order that thou mightest rehearse unto them what we send down unto thee by inspiration. Yet do they reject him, the most gracious, say he is my Lord, and there is no God but he, on him is my trust, and to him do I return. If there were a brawn with which mountains were moved, or the earth were cloven asunder, or the dead were made to speak, this would be the one. But truly the command is with God in all things. Do not the believers know that, had God so willed, he could have guided all mankind to the right? But the unbelievers never willed disaster cease to seize them, for their ill deeds are to settle close to their homes until the promise of God come to pass. For verily God will not fail in his promise. Mocked were many messengers before thee, but I granted respite to the unbelievers, and finally I punished them. Then how terrible was my requital! Is then he who standeth over every soul, and knoweth all that it doth, like any others, and yet they ascribe partners to God. Say, but name them. Is it that ye will inform him of something he knoweth not on earth? Or is it just a show of words? Nay, to those who believe not, the pretense seems pleasing, but they are kept back thereby from the path. And those whom God leads to stray, no one can guide. For them is a penalty in the life of this world, but harder truly is the penalty of the hereafter. And the defender, have they none against God? The parable of the garden which the righteous are promised, beneath it flow rivers perpetual, is the enjoyment thereof, and the shade therein. Such is the end of the righteous, and the end of the unbelievers is the fire. Those to whom we have given the book rejoice at what hath been revealed unto thee. But there are among the clans those who reject, a part thereof say, I am commanded to worship God, and not to join partners with him. Unto him do I call, and unto him is my return. Thus have we revealed it to be a judgment of authority in Arabic. Wert thou to follow their desires after the knowledge which hath reached thee, then wouldst thou find neither protector nor defender against God. We did send messengers before thee, and appointed for them wives and children, and it was never the part of a messenger to bring a sign except as God permitted or commanded. For each period is a book revealed. God doth blot out or confirm what he pleaseth. With him is the mother of the book, whether we shall show thee within thy lifetime part of what we promised them, or take to ourselves thy soul before it is all accomplished. My duty is to make the message reach them. It is our part to call them to account. See they not that we gradually reduce the land in their control from its outlying border, where God commands, there is none to put back his command, and he is the swift in calling to account. Those before them did also devise plots, but in all things the master planning is God's. He knoweth the doings of every soul, and soon will the unbelievers know who gets home in the end. The unbelievers say, no messenger art thou. Say enough, for a witness between me and you is God, and such as have knowledge of the book. Now, Allah is the gender neutral, singular and definitive of the word for God. And so we may have some royal we's in here, other gender neutrals. This is referring to all humans. When we say men, we mean all humans. This chapter is probably the biggest one that doesn't mention the story of any prophet. It refers you to regard a messenger, but it doesn't, tell the story per se. It's basically the concept thereof and the purification. The purification. Basically, the role of the prophet can be tied into that verse about purifying stuff with the fire. And while there's more to it, it's more about alchemy in nature, but